Hi, everyone. Stefan Schuster here, and welcome to the third episode of the Journey Running Podcast. We've got a really special episode here today for everybody, as this is going to be the first episode that we are uploading to YouTube. So if you are tuning in for the first time, you can actually find the first two episodes of the Journey Running Podcast on, as of now, the Apple Podcast and Spotify apps on either your phone or your computer. But also what makes this episode really special is that this is going to be the first episode where we are conducting an interview. So really excited to be bringing on a good friend of mine for the first interview of this podcast, my friend Joel Gartenberg. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce him. Enjoy the episode.
Basically, I'm convinced that all ultra runners are just pirates. At the very basic level, we've got poles. They're essentially swords. Oftentimes, you're faced with really terrible weather, and you have to navigate through storms. Classic pirate material. Lots of ultra runners dealing with nutritional deficiencies, scurvy, classic pirate disease. Also using tailwind in order to get through the course, definitely a sailing technique, as well as at the end of the day, they're all just in it for the gold or like a belt buckle. So
You bring up some good points, man.
yeah. No.
Dude, if you had to give yourself one pirate name, what would it be?
So recently I've actually, a friend gave me this name after I started running around in Crocs. And so my pirate name would be Captain Croc.
Captain Croc.
Captain Croc.
I like it. If I had a pirate name, I know we talked about this at Mogion the other day. What would my pirate name be?
Oh man, there was a couple we were rotating between. I think the one I liked the most that we determined was Captain Poliwhirl.
Captain Poliwhirl. We were talking about Pokemon out there. We should have been playing Pokemon Go on that course. It was really rugged and remote. We would have gotten some good stuff out there.
Oh yeah, no, and you would have hatched so many eggs. Like I don't know if there were eggs to hatch.
Oh my gosh. Well, Joel, it's great to have you here on the Journey Running Podcast. I would like to congratulate you. You are the first guest on the show for episode 3, and you're also the first. This is the first episode that we're going to be recording live to actually put on YouTube too.
Wow, man, I am honored. Absolutely honored to be your first guest.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. Just for those of you who don't know Joel Gartenberg, Joel was just with me this last weekend. I ran the Mogion Monster 100-mile endurance run, and this badass ran 55 miles with me. When I asked him to pace me, he said, "How far can I run with you?" Which is just a classic response from a great guy. So I'm excited for everyone to get to know you a little bit better here. But you want to give the audience like a brief introduction as to like who you are?
Yeah, sure. Before we go into that, do you want to explain how like we met?
Oh yeah, sure. So we met. It was around like mile 40ish of like the Zion 100 back. This was like 6 months ago in like April. I remember running. I thought you were like taking a trail nap or something on the side of the. It was like 90 degrees out that day. Everyone was just like bonking and dehydrated. It was a tough day, but I like vaguely remember like running upon you on the trail, and I was like, "Are you good, dude?" And you were like, "Yeah, man." And like you got up and you're doing great.
I'm glad you said that, because now it's all coming back to me. I wasn't in a lot of pain. I wasn't dehydrated. I wasn't hungry, but I was just kind of like lonely out there. I had been on like a stretch for like 3 hours, and I had pushed really hard the first half, and I went through a lot of walking, and we got up to that area, and it was just super beautiful. It didn't look like anything like the first part of the course, and I ended up like walking and calling one of my buddies for like 45 minutes, and then like sitting on that. There was a couple rocks in the shade. that were just lovely. And I was just kind of like sitting there meditating a little bit and just like having a good time, really taking in the course.
Yeah, you tend to do that when, I mean, even this last weekend, there were a few times where you stopped to do like breathing exercises, some Wim Hof, I think it was. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I remember that part of the course. It was like right after a brutal climb on, it was like an asphalt road where you're climbing all the way up this mesa, and then it gets really hot and technical and exposed where we ended up meeting.
Yeah. No, and I was so happy to run into you because I was just like, I love running with people. That just, it gets me so like jazzed up. And you had a really good attitude about things. And we shared like the next, like it was like 25 miles or something like that together.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was great. I mean, you've got your own positive energy. You're wearing those like the cow shorts, and you had like your iPod with you, just like jamming out. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
But yeah,
great.
you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I am 23 years old. I got into ultra running, say 2.5 years ago ish. And I was never really a runner before that, but I did play a lot of sports like soccer, tennis, track and field. But going in before starting running, I was definitely like way more into weightlifting and like bodybuilding and kind of a very different side of just like fitness altogether. What got me into it was I really wanted at the time, and I still do, want to be a personal trainer, start my own practice. I think you can relate quite a bit to that.
Yeah.
Um, and as soon as the pandemic hit, I was just finishing up my senior year in college and ended up moving home, saved a little bit of rent money, and um, found that I needed to like find a way to get out of the house. And I feel like the story is pretty common for a lot of ultra runners, especially. There was a lot of time, and initially I started doing like ping pong trick shots. Spend like a day trying to hit certain shots. I played the I picked up the trombone again, which I played in high school for a while, and then I don't know. I think like either spring hit or something like that, and weather started getting nicer. And my dad was a trail runner, and he started bringing me on some of his runs, and the rest was kind of history. I got super addicted. I was really into this idea of just I as soon as I heard that ultra running was a thing, I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I wanted to just keep pushing it, see how far I could go. And I was super like I didn't really know anything about the community, but I knew these like runs would happen. I didn't know there was like what the standard distances were or anything like that, but I did know there was this big lake in Washington called Lake Washington, which is about a 50-mile there's like a 50-mile path basically around it, and I was like, I want to go like run around that lake. And I started like just being super into fitness before and like really studying like a lot of like training plans for weightlifting specifically. I went ahead and like did a little bit of research, and found it's like a 16-week plan and like kind of modified it to incorporate a lot more like weightlifting and stuff I still like to do. And I think around week 6 of like a 12 or 16-week plan, I was like, I feel like I can do this. And I just like didn't tell anybody. I had like my alarm set for like 5 in the morning, but I couldn't sleep. So at around like 2 a.m., I just went out and just started running. And then I was like kind of texting people along the way. And it was really fun the first half, but I had so many like issues, like plantar fasciitis that came up, and some hip issues that came up a little bit later, and IT band syndrome, and like, but I got it done, and I was feeling like so proud of myself. I remember it was just an incredible feeling, and ended up having to take quite a bit of time off running after that, but that kind of sparked a journey of here is what like here's how to stay healthy in the sport, and I've just been running ever since.
Wow. So your first ultra was an unofficial like 50 miler around a lake?
Yeah,
Damn, I didn't know that about you.
yeah.
So I know your dad's an Ironman. You said he got you into trail running. When in this, like, what year was it when you first heard of the term ultra running or like ultra marathon?
Yeah, that had to be probably like March of 2020.
March of 2020. Okay.
Yeah,
And I
around.
know like the first time you really, from our conversations, it sounded like the first time you really dedicated yourself, like fully dedicated yourself to fitness was with bodybuilding. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And that was like
And when
I
were you like doing that in your life? Was that a major part of your life more so in college?
uh yeah, and it wasn't like anything official too, but it was just me spending about um I mean so much hours throughout the day planning out meals, researching like different types of splits, how to recover faster, what type of like volume I should be doing, how I should be eating, and I feel like it gave me a lot of strong vocabulary and like body awareness, which definitely helped with running, but it also really kind of hurt initially, just because I had developed so many muscles, but like in a way that was very isolation based. So like my body wouldn't move together or move really correctly. So it was a lot of like kind of unlearning all of those like patterns because like sadly like bicep curls and chest press, incline chest press aren't like the best exercises to be doing as an ultra runner.
Yeah, but you do show up to the starting line looking like you're in way better shape than 99% of the other people out there.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and I feel like it does give me a leg up for like calorie consumption too. I've like I think I went through a phase where I like put on 40 pounds of like mostly muscle over the course of like half a year.
Oh
Uh,
wow, that's a lot in a short time.
it was a lot. Yeah. My body is like really adaptable like that, which is really cool. Um, and but like like I had no problem eating.
Yeah, and so that when you were like 20, 21, you said?
No, that probably happened like I would say actually okay, when I put on that weight, it wasn't like all muscle, it was pretty dirty bulk, I think is like a kind of a term where you just eat a lot of food and like you still lift,
And lift a lot.
but it's because like in a caloric like surplus, you can just put on a lot more mass
Yeah.
faster, even. But a lot of issues kind of came up with doing that as well. But I think so. I got to like I think senior year of high school when I was 17 or 18. I got to the weight that like I pretty much stayed at throughout college, but it was like kind of just I kind of just kept dropping body fat and getting like stronger, but staying around the same weight the whole time,
Hmm.
like a slow progression from there.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, timeline wise, because I mean, you're really young. You're 23 years old, and like, I was stalking your ultra sign up before doing this with you, and it looks like you started running ultras just over a year ago. I think it said it was like maybe May of last year, like official races. I know you did the 50
Yeah,
on your own, and like you already have like 20 plus races on your ultra sign up. So you've thrown down miles like in the last like little over a year. I was just
yeah,
wondering how all that bodybuilding has helped you like transition to be able to do that.
yeah. So it didn't help like at all.
For real?
Other than just like putting your mind to something like a fitness plan. And I think because I became such a perfectionist with bodybuilding, like I was so damn hard on myself at times, and I think running is actually easier than bodybuilding in a
Hmm.
mindset way, just because I think you're a lot less critical on yourself, even though you are critical, but like you're not pinpointing like every single fucking muscle on your body. Um,
Was
and
it critical as in like self-image or like in terms of like the exercises itself?
self-image, and I think the training is more complex. I think
Hmm.
a lot of ultra training, there's good guidelines and principles, and some specific things, but for bodybuilding, it's very like cut and dry. And there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of marketing being thrown at you all the time, and a lot more kind of unhealthy kind of attitudes around the sport. It's changing. There seems to be a lot more body positivity as like it's grown, but I remember I personally struggled so much with my own body image to the point where it was like I was like 5% body fat, just looking like absolutely jacked, and like I wasn't like happy with how I looked like, and I remember like I didn't feel like worthy of like other people because of it, which was like really strange, and it really caused me to like self isolate and just lift even more, which caused me to like just really kind of start living very unsustainably, and like I had some like binge eating disorders kind of like flow up, and um I think once COVID hit and I was finally able to like spend a lot more time running, it became a lot more meditative, and I felt a lot less of the pressures, and was able to kind of, along with therapy, kind of start to discover how to kind of love myself again, which has been an awesome journey these past like 2 years.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, so like when you realized, or like, did you realize you had a binge eating disorder when you were doing all that lifting, or did it take you a little while to, or did you need to discover running to be able to have that time to reflect, or like what was that process for you?
Yeah, so I knew I had it. Um, I think I've had it for a really long time, maybe even before high school. But no, actually, I would say it kind of happened in high school. And I would just like I would read about all these like nutrition articles and people like doing keto and like low carb and like cutting calories, and I would try I would I would do a lot of restriction, which ended up leading to these like crazy binges where I would eat over 10,000 calories. Like I would eat until I could barely like move, and
Wow.
like a lot of pain. Just and I couldn't like stop. And it was just like absolutely crazy. I had no, even like on like days when like binging wasn't happening, like I couldn't tell when I was full, or and I couldn't tell when I was just always like kind of hungry, or like I just didn't really feel anything. I had no kind of like sense of what was going on. And a big reason that is because of when you're kind of stressed out or anxious, you get put in this like fight or flight mode, and your body definitely doesn't really prioritize those feelings of like hunger and satiation when you're trying to like run away from a like a woolly mammoth or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I've gotten a lot of help from a registered dietitian, and another trail runner who I highly suggest everyone checks out, who might be dealing with something related with like eating disorder, named Maria Dalzot. She's incredible. She has like I've worked with a few therapists over the years, and like the way she kind of frames things is it's very liberating, and um, she just seems like I think to have the most correct approach, at least for me. So I definitely suggest, if anyone's going through that, to check it out.
Yeah, no, it's good to like have somebody there who kind of understands your background, right?
Yeah, that too. Like it was incredible to work with somebody who like does this sport too, because some like I feel like ultra runners surround themselves with a lot of other ultra and trail runners, but we often forget we're kind of like in a bubble of just
Yeah.
like incredible athletes and people.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I always tell people I mean, especially like you live in Seattle, in places like Seattle and Portland and like Denver, like there's a much larger trail running scene, and every single day or week there's somebody going out for like a 30-mile trail run just casually. And like that's really incredible because most of the population doesn't even know that's possible. And so we often um I think it's just easy for us to take what we do and like these incredible feats for granted. And we need to make sure we're treating ourselves right though, and like through that process.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You. I think just really acknowledging how like lucky we are, and lucky how that we're in these areas too, and with all these people doing these things, it's great.
Yeah. So I mean, like, what's your ultra running journey been like? How have you enjoyed it? You seem
Yeah.
like a guy. I know it's important to talk about the serious things, but you're also a guy who, like, you have a lot of self reflection, but you also have a lot of fun when you're doing this stuff.
Yeah. I try to I feel like ultra running's like a return to like being like a true little kid for me. Once I hit that 2 hour mark, I get like a really strong sense of like curiosity and wonder, and I just want to like goof around with everybody. Um, and that's I think I like I think I kind of had to like learn that myself. Like I started feeling these things, but like really being intentional about indulging into that sense of like finding like your inner kid again. Like I think has made me like a better person on like a day to day too. But yeah, like
So your
um,
inner kid's like very like curious, you mean?
yeah, wild imagination. And just like I feel like I'm like doing all these like adventures, exploring like these like cool areas instead of like running to like the next aid station. It's like
Hmm.
on a little like adventure. And I feel like the world is just like really, really, really big.
Yeah, I mean, you have like a ton of fun with all this stuff running around in what's it called, like the cow gang out there? I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, the Cowgill Trail Collective, a really big
Okay.
um, trail running club here.
And like everyone wears those boa cow shorts.
Oh, cow shorts! If you
Boa cow shorts. If
around,
people don't know what we're talking about, you just need to look up the boa cow shorts and you'll see what we mean.
yeah, they look super iconic. But also a big reason why I run in Crocs too is
Yeah.
because I feel like it helps facilitate that kind of sense of like wonder and like connection with like the world around me. Um, it's like funny to like kind of flop around on like soft dirt in my Crocs and really like I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm like splashing through puddles and like they're always so colorful. Like I have
I think you're talking about this too casually. You just ran the Cascade Crest 100 in Crocs, and you ran the Wonderland Trail in Crocs too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Crocscade Crest people. Um, sorry,
Yeah,
I think you were downplaying that a little bit.
they're really fun shoes. Yeah. I kind of just started doing it because um another one of my friends who has really shaped my running basically started doing it, and I was like, okay, there's probably something to it, and I put them on, and yeah,
There's
they're
more of you out there, you're telling me.
there's another guy. He's an incredible ultra runner that I think really kind of shaped my values within the sport. Like he like basically I would like ask him for like running advice, and all he said was to just run a lot and go very, very, very slow.
Is this
All,
when you were first starting out?
yeah, and all the way up until like right before Cascade Crest. He actually told me not to run Cascade Crest in Crocs, and felt
I
like
mean,
there was a moment where it was like student becomes the master, and I was like, I gotta do this.
amazing. If
Yeah.
if you were to talk to, so you got advice from what sounds like a great mentor of yours. If you were to go back in time and give like that bodybuilding version of yourself advice, like what's the one thing ultra running has taught you that you would tell yourself?
Um, so that's a tough question. I would probably tell myself to, I don't know, like I don't think I would have been in a spot to be like receptive to any type of advice. It's like it's hard. Like I'd probably just like see myself and give myself like a hug or something and then just like
Uh,
carry on. Like I really don't think I would have been able to break out of bodybuilding at the time, just because it would have felt like a sunk cost. And yeah, like I didn't really understand how much running helps with like your own sense of like awareness. And because like it wasn't until I started running till I started to feel full again, started to feel like hungry,
mhm.
and started to like start making nutritional decisions for myself that weren't like something I was supposed to do, but based off of like what I was feeling like I wanted to do. Like
Yeah.
I could actually listen to my body.
So like what does being healthy to you mean now? Because you've gone through like bodybuilding, ultra running, you're talking about nutrition now.
Yeah.
Like you've done therapy, you've done like breathing exercises. Like what does being healthy mean to you? And like how do you recommend people like be healthy?
Yeah. Um that's great. I think healthy is I really like the definition of healthy as being able to do your daily activities without pain. And that it's as simple as that.
Hmm.
If you're moving well and you're not hurting, you're good. I think it's insanely lucky to be able to run. Um, and like if you're moving and you're not in pain, you're good. But in terms of like, I think another really important aspect, like another good definition, would be like not spending a lot of mental energy trying to think about like food and like exercise on a day to day basis. Like there's enough problems in the world, like and like within like our other areas of our life. Like if you're, I think it's I think exercise is like a lot of people's escape. So it's like if you're not stressing about it, I think that's really healthy as well. Just no like not a whole lot of mental thought into it. But yeah, like I think my definition of healthy is like more about sustainability rather than like, oh, eat some broccoli. Like if you're
Yeah.
you can eat whatever the heck you want. As if you feel good, you feel good.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like just because I mean like if you can't maintain what you're doing in the long run just because you're healthy like in the now doesn't mean you will be in a month or 3 months if you like burn out. Yeah. But no, I mean, you've done a lot in this sport, man. I mean, what else would you add to like that in terms of like you've done a lot recently, right? It's like what are you doing to like help prolong your longevity and like your time in the sport? Because I
Yeah,
know you've mentioned like this is the first thing that you like really love and like have divin like really deep into that you want to be in for a long time.
yeah. Um, so I want to mention that after doing after pacing you, in terms of runs or like days that I've done over 26 miles, I over the last 2 years, I have 44 ultra runs.
Okay.
Like with 20 of those being on ultra sign up and a handful like some other like places, and then a lot just kind of like by myself. And I really I really pride myself on my ability to recover and stay healthy. And like
Mhm.
the ways I guess I do that is one, eating a lot. It's been really helpful to I think that's just been like kind of my saving grace. It's I think just being in that caloric, like I feel like so many people can just I know ultra running ends up being like a catabolic sport where you start eating away at like muscles and stuff. So like the more you can kind of eat. And actually, I don't really want to speak too much on this because I don't know the science behind it, but like eating food is going to kind of help prevent the muscle breakdown
Hmm.
quite a bit. And then I'm also like, once I got, after doing that first ultra run around Lake Washington, I started going to physical therapy. And since I want to be a personal trainer, I was like obsessed with my physical therapist. I ended up like shadowing him after I finished up like my PT just to like learn more of what he was doing
Oh, that's
and
cool.
more exercises and stuff like that. And that has been huge. Um, I'm finding I don't need to do it as consistently anymore and I can get away with it. But like
Hmm.
for the first like year and a half, I was like constantly doing I have stuff for like my hips, my ankles, and my knees. And uh, it's just, I have resistance bands everywhere. Like I keep some in my shower at the office. I have plenty in the TV room. I'm just like always like moving around.
How many hours do you think you spend on that every week?
Oh man. I don't know, cause like half the time I'm doing it like not consciously.
I was
Like
just wondering, like, I spend like a few hours a week, especially like the closer I get to a race. I don't race nearly as much as you.
yeah,
But I mean, the closer I get to a race, the more I'm doing it because, like, I mean, some of those injuries can get really painful if you're at mile 50 and you still have like 50 miles to go. I just don't want to like deal with some of those things again because it's a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I think we talked about this at Zion. We were just like, why don't people do the exercises if they want to run these races healthy? Um, but yeah, that's cool. You want to be a trainer after this. So what kind of steps are you taking to get to that point? Because right now you're sorry, you switched positions. You were doing accounting before, and
yeah,
now you're in more like recruiting. And obviously on the side, I think you've told me outside of this podcast that you've like trained some of your friends. You've shadowed PT, so you're like building your toolbox to be able to do that one day. It sounds like.
yeah. And I actually so during COVID, right before I started running, I got certified as like a personal trainer as well. And even in high school, I have like tons of Excel sheets that I would make for my friends programming different like plans. And man, I love it so much. I love just listening to people and like forming a very specific plan to their lifestyle and like listening to what they say they want versus what they actually want. It's just so cool. But because I'm running so much, I ended up putting all of that off because I was like, I'm having way too much fun right now. So, and I still look out. I kind of have the mindset where you if there's something you want to do, you don't actually like need to go very far to find it. Like if I like originally my goal was like, oh yeah, I want to start up my own personal training practice, but like in reality, there's a bunch of my friends that look up to me for a lot of like advice, and I'm like always happy to like lend a hand, and I get that same kind of feeling of like satisfaction. And I'm in a position where I currently have another job, so it's like I can afford to get away with that, and not have to like work myself a lot harder and potentially risk some sort of mental burnout or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel yeah. It's really hard, especially I always tell myself like I'm also trying to start like a training business for runners. And I always say to myself, you'd be a lot more successful, a lot quicker if you just put running to the side, but I refuse to do it, man.
Yeah,
I just love this sport way too much. It's too much fun. Yeah,
yeah. It's hard to make those decisions, especially with like I don't know where like life is short.
yeah.
You gotta kind of like I don't know. There's trade-offs to everything.
Life is short.
I'm excited
How?
for start that up, like start up your business. Like if any of my friends like start looking for a coach, like I would love for them to get to work with you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, life is short, you know. In your life, like how one thing I love asking people these two questions. Like you have like dreams and goals. I'm gonna ask you a little bit more about that in a second. But like how do you define success in your life and how do you find like what greatness is?
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Success. I I think success is a feeling, and I think, yeah, I mean, that's tricky. I mean, I think it's success has to be you meeting or exceeding your own expectations. That's
Hmm.
what that is. Um, but like I would also I would and I think success kind of like is like you can see it in so many different areas of like your life, like physical, like your job or like your relationships with people. But if I had to kind of like give it like an all-encompassing definition, I would say um like if you can look back on like if you can kind of like reflect back on your life and like where you currently are, like are you doing good? And if you can answer yes to that question, I would say you're successful.
Nice. How do you think greatness ties into being successful?
When I hear greatness, I think of like, huh, you know, I think I'm still working on a definition of that. It feels like it's an attitude almost.
Hmm.
But could how do you personally define it?
You're gonna throw it right back at me. So
I mean,
mine is
but
always in flux. I like asking people these questions because I think it's because I'm always trying to edit my own answer,
yeah,
and because everyone's got something different. I would define success as like fully devoting your like a living life on your terms, and b doing that in a way where you're fully dedicated to what you're doing, passionate about what you're doing in your life, and also consistent with it. And I think that if you have a lot of success over a long period of time, that's where that consistency comes in. Then you have greatness in whatever it is that you're doing. So you might achieve success and greatness in running in your life, but maybe not career or relationship or something else. So I think that they apply individually to different things. Um, but
yeah,
yeah, I see success as like these buckets, and then greatness is everything combined. Because just because you have like one great race, that might be success and greatness in like a race, right?
mhm,
But could you call that a career? Like, is that a career of greatness just because you had one great race? I would disagree with that. So I think it needs to be over a long period of time for that reason.
I love that definition. Yeah,
But that's just mine.
yeah. I would like if we're talking just about ultra running, like I would say like are you staying uninjured is like would be my definition of success. It
Dude,
actually
there's
was.
injuries everywhere. I mean, it's true.
When I would run, my metric of success, and I would actually tell people this, was how do I feel after a race? Like, how
Yeah.
does my body feel? Like, because personally, I just wanted, like, I'm always optimizing to do as much running as possible because without feeling like burnt out or
Hmm.
like hurt. Because whenever I'm running out there, like that's the feeling I'm looking for. That's where I get to spend time with my friends. That's where I get to connect with like the nature around me.
Hmm.
If I can do that for more hours because I'm not getting hurt, yeah, that's success.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how greatness is that over time. I think that's
So you do a lot of miles though. Like, how many miles do you do a week on average?
um I think it's probably averaging out to around 70 this year.
70. That's a lot of miles. Do you like love every mile that you're in?
Not always. I would say on it's becoming more rare for me to like not be enjoying myself out there. And I'm not like I do a lot of walking miles. I do a lot of if I ever kind of feel pain or like some sort of like mental anguish, I always just take it easy. I like give myself that grace, which is really hard to do as an athlete.
Hmm.
To not push
Yeah.
like ever. And like sometimes like my body will tell me not to push for a long time, like a week or something like that. And it's like really disheartening, but like I just kind of trust the process, and it kind of rewards me.
Is there like a specific like scenario or like thing that happened to you that taught you how to listen to your body that well?
Yeah, I think just after that Lake Washington run and just going through PT, and then there was one other injury that has happened since then, and it was when I started running with the Cowgill group. There was a lot of fast people there, and I started trying to keep up with them all the time, and I had a hip injury, and that
Mm,
kind of put me out for like around 2-ish weeks. And I was like, okay, just like, yes, you can go fast occasionally to get like, but you got to be really, really smart about it and do it very, very infrequently.
mm. So have you just like lowered because of that? Do you like go there less frequently, or do you just slow your pace, or?
Yeah, I slow my pace very purposefully. And I kind of see it as like ego training too, because like I have to just kind of like remind myself like, yeah, it doesn't really matter how fast I'm going. This is going to keep me in the sport longer. But
Yeah. How so I mean it is like a tough sport on like your mind and your body. Like how do you think the adversity of ultra running has helped you become like a better person?
yeah,
Or has it translated into like you as a human being? Like do you think you're nicer because of it? Do you think like you're more generous? Like um do you think you're better able to solve problems, or I don't know, maybe not?
yeah, that's a great question. I definitely noticed after my first couple of runs that I just started having like this immense gratitude kind of start forming in my life that wasn't really there before.
Hmm.
Um, and like I remember getting home from some of my first races, and I would just like appreciate like the smallest kind of things, like just the fact that like I've got like a glass of water like available to me, like how like my home is like semi temperature controlled, like how soft some things surfaces were. It made me a lot more like in touch with like everything, and really appreciative of just people in general. Because I mean, we can sometimes spend so much time by yourself. It's like I feel like it really emphasizes the importance of just people around you. And yeah, I think it's made me a friendlier person, a person who's like um, more open, as well as somebody who is just very grateful for the situation I'm in.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
No, I can, there's like so many things on like just in that little tidbit that like I want to comment on. My mind is I have like too many thoughts at once. But no, like I think about, I mean, all the people that it takes to make these races a success too in our lives, like all the sacrifice we make, and we expect the people around us while we're training to understand like this matters to us even if we're not spending time with you, but it makes those relationships better. And then it also means a lot when those same people oftentimes like come out and crew you or pace you, and like help you achieve that goal. Like it's really hard to do a lot of these races without that kind of support.
yeah, it's a really big man. Yeah, that sparks a lot for me too. Just like you have to sacrifice a lot of time away from your friends, but that's not necessarily like a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it makes the time hopefully more meaningful.
Definitely.
Although I have noticed it's a little bit harder these days to like have friends who aren't in the sport just because it's like we're, at least I mean I think both of us can say we spend most of our free time doing it in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form, whether it's running itself, like eating. I spend so much time cooking, and it's like all
Yeah.
because I just want to be a healthier and better runner. Um, or like making sure you're getting adequate rest, like doing the PT exercises, like it's just a lot of time.
I think or I'm really curious what you've been cooking, because I feel like I feel like I need to be listening to like or doing some research on that, because like the amount of calories we need to be consuming
Yeah.
is nuts, and I don't know how to like quickly prep for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Like what do I cook?
Yeah.
on a weekly basis? That's a great question. So this week is a post race week. So after running 100 miles, I always cook the Scott Jerk chili. It's technically vegan, even though I'm not technically vegan or vegetarian for that matter. I follow more of like an 80-20 diet where like 80% of my meals would be defined as like plant-based and the other 20% are meat. Um, but I eat a lot of salmon. I probably eat fish, which is usually salmon every week or every other week. Every meal that I make, I try to get at a minimum of 2 meals out of. That way I don't have to cook every single day. Um, I also cook, I don't know, I cook shrimp, cook chicken just because um, I thought I lost you there for a sec. Don't cook a lot of red meat just because of the associations with red meat and like carcinogens, which I can get more into that on another. I'll probably do like another podcast on like that subject in particular. But I don't know. And then I like to cook a lot of tofu-based dishes. I'm trying to think, my best recipes would be like chili, salmon. I like to make enchiladas. I actually know a good vegan recipe for enchiladas. I can send you that. Maybe I
Yeah.
can throw like these recipes in the podcast notes after this too. Um, trying to think what else. I like to make like broccoli tofu. I love Thai food, man. I love Thai food.
Great.
Um, I hope that answers your question. I mean, I have like a million recipes I need to like make a cookbook one day with, but that's what I eat. What do you usually eat?
I've been blessed with a really cheap corporate deli at my place of work. So like 5 days out of the week, I make like huge salads, um, like something that's just like people like are always commenting how big these salads are whenever I'm like bringing them up, and I love how I can get like such a variety of like vegetables as well as like I'll do some like a little bit of meat. I go really like not super carb heavy during the day. And but go really high fat. Like I do so many beans and like artichoke hearts, and nuts, so many nuts. And then I'll do my run like in the afternoon or evening, and then at night like I'm just eating like straight rice, like because like that's where I'm eating all my heavy carbs, and I find that that actually helps me sleep too.
When you say the big salad, I think of Seinfeld. I can't help it. The big salad. The
But yeah,
question is who's paying for the big salad?
yeah,
Sorry.
it's that was a great reference. But yeah, I
Are
mean,
you
and because I'm like also like trying to ball in like a budget, I actually like can get away without like grocery shopping for the most part because I can just do that huge meal like through the day, and then there's like some snacks kind of laying around like
what?
manager will buy. So like I'll take like 4 fruit snacks for my run, and then at night I just have like a huge bag of rice, bunch of like rice cake, and like and then like that's usually like enough or like some bars, and then I'm passed out, and then I'll like wake up and then do it all over again. But it's
What's your go-to rice?
oh, just white rice all
Yeah, I
day.
know, but there's a lot of types. Just like
Oh
the
yeah, I really only have like done jasmine before. Like I don't really
all
have
right.
any. Yeah.
I was just wondering what kind of rice I'm sending you uh for your birthday.
And you're you would be like I might not get to it till like next couple of years because I have like pounds of rice just kind of like sitting there.
Are you on an exercise ball right now? Oh man, that's cool. So I know we're coming up on like an hour here. Before we get going, I got just a few last questions for you.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Yeah.
You're
So
young. You have a bright future. Like you have a million ways you could go with this.
yeah. Well, I thought you were asking like race wise. And I'm gonna
Oh,
bring. I'm hyped
I
about
meant
this.
like personally and professionally.
Okay. Personally, I really want to start dating again. That on the back burner. I mean, I was living at home. It was a little bit difficult and COVID and everything. But I'm excited for the winter coming up because I'm gonna purposely start logging way less miles and just trying to prioritize setting up some dates with people, which
Here you go. So if you are listening and you are a single ultra runner in the Seattle, Washington area, Joel Gartenberg is single, everybody.
oh man.
This is
Hey, yeah,
gonna age well.
I could use. I clearly need all the help. I you're, it's. I was able to wingman you during Zion when I took some of those hinge pics.
You did.
The favor.
Joel took a few pictures of me when we were running the Zion 100 on this like sick cliff, and he's got like this picture of me climbing down like the rope on like the side of this cliff. So he was like, "Make sure you put this on Hinge." All right. So you helped me there. Hopefully this podcast will help you.
Yeah. No, I expect it to. And I guess professionally, I really like the position I'm at right now. At Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to continue to kind of like be with the same team I'm at because I really like what I'm doing, and there is quite a room for myself to develop professionally there. But down the line, I don't know how long it's going to be. I will be opening my like own private practice at some point, and I think the people I want to help are going to be like, I think I want to be working with like younger people, like high school to college age, people, or you know what, I would want to help anybody, because I like kind of the challenge, and I wouldn't want to do it as like as a business. I would want to like I would want to make it like super part time, and like maybe charge to make it like an official thing. But I want it to be a way for me to spend more time learning, becoming like more of a student of like just fitness in general. And it wouldn't be like running focused, but it would just be kind of like an all encompassing, like whatever your fitness goals is, like, let's do it. I would want to continue like my education there, maybe even get, go back to school and get like a physical therapy degree too, to really some value there.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's very Bruce Lee like of you. Be like water, malleable.
Yeah.
A student of the art.
Yeah, man. I love Bruce Lee. He's also a UW alumni.
He is?
Yes.
What? I didn't know that.
He's buried in Seattle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but definitely.
What is? Sorry, go on.
Oh, okay. I honestly forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you, like, what is next for you on the running side of things?
Yeah, I got Mountain Lakes 100 next week and I want to try, and I actually don't really know what my goals are for that one. Like, I thought I wanted to go fast, but like after having this podcast again, like I don't know if that's a good idea.
What do you mean?
I might just want to like have fun with it again.
You always have fun though.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, even if you go fast, I think you'll find a way to have fun.
After seeing you push, it was just like, damn, like I know what's like possible. Like, I don't think I've seen somebody execute a race so like damn well before. I mean, partially because I've only seen my own races, but like it was really cool to see you so like just dialed in and methodical about things. Like,
thank you, man. That means a lot. That was probably like one of the best top 2 races I've run. I don't know, like in terms of how like it went with everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool to be able to share that with someone, and like I wouldn't have been able to do that without you. Just so people know, this guy, like, it was the middle of the night, and Mogollon is a really technical course, and like every single somewhat runnable section, this guy was like, "Hey Stefan, like, how do you feel about running?" Even if I was mid-sentence telling him a story, he'd be like, "Hey, I think you should run this," like mid-sentence. And so it got to the point where every single time there was like 5 steps that I could run, I would just run it because Joel kept telling me it'll add up, it'll add up, it'll add up, and I think it added up pretty well at the end. But
also, when you started to like run on those sections by yourself, I would always like compliment you, and I like to think I was doing like some like Pavlov like conditional whatever that psychology is, where
Yeah.
yeah, positive feedback right there. Yeah, that was so much fun, and
Yeah.
we had some great stories out there.
We had a
Um,
great time.
yeah. Besides mountain lakes, though, I got Javelina 100 coming up, and I love running in the desert. I love running in the heat. And I'm just really excited to be out there. I'm gonna wear a pirate costume. We're gonna get like real funny out there. I think both mountain lakes and Javelina, I'll be running in Crocs. So if anybody's doing those races and you see a dude with some Crocs on, like and maybe an eye patch, like hit me up. I love to chat with people.
Amazing. Yeah, dude. I love it. What do you have? Do you have any plans for next year? Are you thinking about that kind of thing yet?
Oh yeah, I want like, I don't know what it is, but I want like at least like, I have the Orcus 100 in February.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I've got nothing. When things start opening up, though, I want at least 7 100s on the calendar.
Whoa.
At least.
What about a 200?
Maybe.
Okay,
Maybe. Like it's harder to swing those vacation days. And just like, I think I would actually probably need a crew for some of those.
Oh, you got one here.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we gotta align Cocodona together.
Dude, I know. I hope we can make it happen in 2024.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at, hopefully.
I think that would probably line up.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah. But I only want to be spending money on 100-milers, because I think they're the only races that like that you're just like worth spending that much money on.
I mean, it's just like there's something that hits different when you run through the night and you see that second sunrise.
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool. I know what you mean.
And I mean, I haven't done 200s yet, but I mean, it's just more time away from real life.
He says yet, folks.
Yeah. Do more time to a 100-miler than a 50K. Why would I not spend more time running?
Yeah, I love it. Well, Joel, we're past the hour mark. I was wondering, so I have two more questions for you, pretty quick. First, what is there anything that you wanted in particular to end on today?
You know what? I would just say a reminder for everybody to just not take themselves so seriously when it comes to this sport. Unless you're getting paid, then take yourself super seriously and like stress out and like get that money, though. Like at the end of the day, we're all just like people trying to like do a hobby. Like stop, look around you, like and like make some friends out there. Like being able to connect with people and share the experience of doing something extreme in some place beautiful is very rare and very special.
Yeah, it is, man. So before we go, I just want to acknowledge you. I really appreciate you as a friend. I know we've only known each other for a relatively short period of time, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're a really impressive 23-year-old. I just think like the amount of self-reflection that you've done in your life is really impressive. I think how transparent you are and like willing to speak about that kind of stuff. Some of the stuff you spoke about today, like on a podcast publicly, is like a testament to like who you are in terms of how honest you are with yourself and with those around you. And what you've done in just a short period of time is just, you've done a lot, man. I'm really excited to see like where this whole sport and like you go as like a person and a runner, like in the future. Yeah, I'm really excited to see everything, man. But before we head out here today, how can people follow you and your adventures? Is Instagram the best thing? I know you love your Strava. Like how can people follow Joel G,
Yeah,
the king
real,
of Crocs?
real quick, dude, just a thank you. That was super sweet. And I'm really glad I met you, and I feel like I've grown a lot just from meeting you as well. Over a few interactions, and there's not very many people who have met me once and have flown me out to Arizona. So can't like you're a great guy. To
Thank you.
follow, definitely either Strava or Instagram, just Joel Gartenberg, my full name, for Instagram. For Strava, you're gonna look for Captain Croc.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah,
Captain Croc.
everything's public, and I just follow me in my Croc adventures. I'm sure. I'm not. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna keep doing the Croc thing. But like, who knows? They're a lot of fun. They're a great shoe.
Yeah. Well, and just lastly, also, if anyone knows anyone who's single in Seattle and who runs ultras, send them send their number to Joel. Now you
Oh
know where
my.
to find his Insta.
Uh,
Did I embarrass you to finish it up?
yeah, just the perfect amount.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming on, Joel. Really appreciate having you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. This was a
We'll
lot of
do
fun.
we'll do this again for sure.
Absolutely. I see ya. I don't.